Have you ever caught yourself wondering, how much longer do I have? Not in a fearful way, but in that quiet moment when you sit with a cup of tea by the window, watching the world go by a little slower than it used to. After 70, every year feels more precious. Every walk, every laugh, every sunrise, it all starts to mean a little more. But here's the truth no one tells us often enough. Your body has been whispering hints about your future all along. Sometimes it's subtle, a small ache, a change in rhythm. Other times it's a loud knock you can't ignore. The question isn't, will I live long? But rather, am I paying attention to the signs that show how well I'm living? Because longevity isn't just a game of chance. It's written in the daily patterns of how you move, rest, eat, and feel. And today I want to walk with you through 7 simple yet powerful signs that might be revealing more about your future than you ever realized. Before we go deeper, let me say this. These signs aren't predictions carved in stone. They're gentle markers, clues. And the beauty is, most of them can be changed, improved, if you catch them in time. That's why I hope you'll stay with me until the very end, because each one of these signs might give you the power to write a different ending for your story. One filled with more energy, more independence, and yes, more time. Now imagine this with me. Could be you're walking across a parking lot one morning, maybe heading into the grocery store. The breeze is light, and you notice someone about your age striding ahead of you. Their pace is steady, shoulders tall, feet moving with purpose. You admire them for a second, how they seem so. Sure. Then you glance down at your own steps and realize you've slowed down. Not just today, but slowly, steadily over the past year. You pause. You tell yourself it's just the weather, or maybe those old knees acting up again. But what if I told you that how fast you walk is one of the clearest windows into how long you might live? There's something deeply revealing about walking speed. It's not just about exercise. It's about vitality, strength, coordination, even the clarity of your thoughts. When researchers studied older adults, they found a surprising link. Those who could walk at a steady, confident pace lived longer, sometimes even much longer, than those whose steps had slowed to a shuffle. It wasn't just about movement. It was about how the whole body was functioning together. Muscles, heart, lungs, balance, brain. Let me tell you about Gerald. He's 76, lives alone in a quiet suburb, and every morning at 7 a.m., he walks to the local bakery, gets a fresh roll, and walks back. It's not far, just 3 blocks each way, but he moves like he's going somewhere. People wave to him. The postman knows his name. His steps are smooth, balanced. Now compare that to Alvin, also 76, who used to be just as active. But lately he finds himself holding onto railings, avoiding curbs, and feeling winded after just a few minutes on his feet. The walks have become shorter, the confidence dimmer. The difference? Gerald's walking speed reflects a body still in sync, still responsive and ready. Alvin's slower steps, though they may seem harmless, might be quietly pointing to deeper things. Weak muscles, tired circulation, maybe even signals from the brain saying, I need help. That's why walking speed is more than just movement. It's a signpost. But here's the hopeful part. It's also something you can change. You're not stuck with the pace you have today. In fact, the more you move, the better your body responds. You don't have to run marathons. Just walk a little more each day. Take the stairs once in a while. Practice lifting your knees higher or standing taller. Even 5 minutes of extra movement can begin to restore strength in your legs, lungs, and even your confidence. So next time you go outside or even just walk from the kitchen to the living room, pay attention to your pace. Are you moving with strength? Are your steps even and sure? Or have you started to hesitate, to feel unstable? Don't ignore those moments. They're your body's way of asking for attention, and maybe even a little love. If you've been nodding while reading this, or thinking of someone you love who might need to hear this too, I invite you to keep going with me. There's more to explore. more signs that reveal the deeper story of how long and how well we might live after 70. And if this has struck a chord so far, feel free to share it. You never know who might be silently searching for answers. Let's continue. Have you ever reached for something? A glass on the shelf, a bag of groceries, and felt a small surprise in your hands? Not the item itself, but the strength or lack of it in your grip. It's easy to overlook, isn't it? The way our hands carry us through the day without much thought. We've been using them our whole lives, holding babies, cooking meals, tying laces. And yet, as we grow older, our hands begin to speak a quieter truth about our inner strength. That truth often shows up in the simplest place, your grip. Now, I know what you might be thinking. A weak handshake? That's just age, right? But here's something surprising. How firmly you can hold on to something, even for a few seconds, can reveal a lot about your overall resilience. It's more than muscles. It's about how alive your body still feels from the inside out. There's a woman named Elaine I met once, 82 years old, who still opens every pickle jar in her house without a second thought. She knits, gardens, and always insists on carrying her own shopping bags, even if it's just a few items. Her hands feel steady, warm, full of life. They've been with me through everything, she told me once with a laugh, and they're not retiring yet. On the other hand, her neighbor Harold, only a year younger, started dropping things more often. He noticed it first when opening a bottle of water took longer than usual. Then he struggled to twist doorknobs or write steadily. "I just thought I was getting clumsy," he said. But the truth was, his grip was fading, and it was telling a bigger story, one about muscle loss, about the connection between the nerves and the strength they used to send so easily. He didn't see it coming until it began affecting his confidence, his independence. The encouraging part, just like walking speed, your grip isn't a sealed fate. It's something you can build back with patience and intention. Start by noticing how your hands feel when you hold a cup of tea or squeeze a sponge. Can you clench your fist easily? Can you hold on to something heavy without effort? If the answer feels shaky, don't ignore it. It's not about age, it's about care. Pishanan. Try holding a softball, lifting small weights, or even wringing out a cloth. These small movements whisper to your muscles. Stay alive. We're not done yet. And every time you choose to do that, you're holding on to more than an object. You're holding on to a piece of your independence. If you've made it this far, it means you care deeply about your future, or perhaps someone else's. And that matters more than you know. So thank you for staying with me. There's something else we need to talk about, something even more subtle, but just as telling. It's your balance, not the kind that gets tested during yoga class. I'm talking about the quiet kind. The moment you reach down to tie a shoe, the time you try to step into the shower, that gentle wobble, that little moment when the floor doesn't feel as certain as it used to. Our ability to stay steady, on one leg, walking around corners, getting out of bed, isn't just about legs or ankles. It's about your entire body working together in harmony. And when that balance starts to slip, it often means something deeper is shifting. Take Margie, for instance. She's 74, and every morning she stands in her kitchen while waiting for the kettle to boil and lifts one foot off the ground. Just 10 seconds, sometimes less. It keeps me honest, she says. Honest about how steady she feels, how much she trusts her own body. Some mornings she wobbles. Other mornings she stands tall. But she notices, and that awareness alone keeps her safer. Then there's Leonard. He used to dance every Sunday at the community center. But after a minor fall in the bathroom, nothing serious, he stopped. Said he didn't want to risk it. But slowly that caution turned into hesitation. The hesitation became avoidance. And before long, his world got smaller. All because he no longer trusted his own balance. The truth is, losing balance isn't just physical, it's emotional too. It steals a little bit of your freedom, and if left unchecked, it can quietly lead to more falls, more fear, and less movement. But here's the bright side. Balance is something that can be rebuilt. Start small. Stand near a wall and lift one foot gently. See how long you can hold it. Or walk in a straight line, heel to toe, like you're crossing a narrow bridge. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to begin. Because every second you spend improving your balance is a second invested in your future confidence, your freedom. So if you've ever felt unsteady when turning around too fast, or found yourself holding on to furniture as you move through a room, don't brush it off. That's not just getting older. That's your body quietly saying, we need to reconnect. And trust me, that reconnection is worth every step. Let's take a deep breath together. You've already uncovered 3 of the most important signs your body sends you about the road ahead. But we're not done yet. There are still more quiet signals waiting to be heard, some that show up when the world goes dark and your head hits the pillow. Shall we keep going? There's a moment each night, just before the world fades into silence, when your body begins to speak in a different language, a slower one, a language made of breath, rhythm, and the soft pull of rest. For some, sleep comes like a gentle wave, wrapping the body in stillness and peace. For others, it's more like a stubborn door that creaks, resists, and refuses to close. And yet, how we sleep, how deeply, how soundly, how regularly, might be one of the most telling signs of how long we'll keep waking up to another day. You see, sleep isn't just about being tired or refreshed. It's when the body heals itself, when the mind resets. When tiny repairmen inside your cells go to work, quietly stitching things back together, restoring your heart, your memory, your mood. That's why after 70, how well you sleep might quietly predict how well you're aging. Think about someone like Bill. He's 79, lives with his cat Charlie, and every night at 9:30 he follows the same little ritual. Turns off the television, makes a cup of chamomile, reads a chapter of a book, then lights out. He doesn't always sleep through the night, but more often than not, he wakes up feeling rested, with a clear head and steady energy. He says it's his reset button, and he guards it like treasure. Then there's Donna. She's 76 and used to sleep like a baby. But lately she finds herself staring at the ceiling, tossing and turning, waking up at 2 a.m. for no reason. Sometimes she drifts back to sleep. Other times she just lies there, mind racing, body restless. By morning, she's groggy, unfocused, and a little off balance. It's not that she's sick. It's just that her body hasn't had the deep, healing sleep it craves. And slowly, that sleep debt begins to ripple through everything. Her memory, her blood pressure, her ability to feel joy in small things. The strange part is, many people accept poor sleep as just another part of aging. But it doesn't have to be. In fact, improving your sleep, even by a little, can add years to your life and energy to your days. And the changes don't have to be big. Getting sunlight early in the morning, avoiding screens before bed, creating a wind-down routine, these are tiny adjustments with huge rewards. Because every good night's sleep is like a deposit into your health bank. And over time, those deposits add up. So tonight, when you lie down, pay attention to how your body feels. Do you drift into rest with ease? Or do you carry the weight of the day into your dreams? If something feels off, don't dismiss it. Your sleep isn't just about how you rest, it's about how you live. And speaking of living, let me ask you something else. When was the last time you truly enjoyed a meal? Not just out of habit, but with real appetite, with anticipation? The kind of hunger that isn't about needing to eat, but wanting to? It might surprise you, but your appetite holds another quiet truth about your health after 70. And it's not just about weight. It's about what your body's telling you about its energy, its needs, its resilience. There's something beautiful about watching someone who still finds joy in food, like Mrs. Alvarez, an 81-year-old widow who lives down the street. Every Sunday she cooks a full meal for herself. Rice, fish, a little salad, maybe a mango if it's in season. She eats slowly, savoring each bite. She's not overeating. She's feeding her soul as much as her body. And she's full of life, walking everywhere, laughing with neighbors, never missing a day at church. Now contrast that with Samuel, 77. Once a foodie, now barely finishes half a sandwich. He says he's just not that hungry anymore. Yeah, skips breakfast, eats cereal for dinner. And little by little, he's lost weight, not intentionally, not healthily. His clothes hang looser, his energy dips in the afternoon, and his voice sounds quieter than it used to. He's not starving, but his body is quietly running low, on fuel, on nutrients, on the small joys that come with a satisfied meal. A fading appetite isn't just a sign of getting older. It's a flag. Sometimes it means your digestion is slowing or your mood is dipping. Sometimes it points to inflammation or even early changes in the way your brain handles hunger. And when you're not eating enough, your body begins to draw energy from your muscles, from your reserves. That's when frailty creeps in. That's when independence begins to slip. But here's what I want you to remember. Eating well after 70 isn't about eating more. It's about eating right. It's about tuning in. Are you getting enough protein to stay strong? Are you drinking enough water? Are you actually enjoying what you eat? Because when you lose the pleasure of food, you risk losing more than calories. You risk losing connection, routine, and rhythm. So the next time you sit down to a plate of food, ask yourself, does this nourish me? Not just physically, but emotionally? Am I giving my body what it needs to keep going strong? And if the answer feels uncertain, maybe it's time to bring a little more color, flavor, and variety back into your meals. A warm soup, a piece of fruit, a meal shared with someone you love. These are not luxuries. They're lifelines. And you, my friend, deserve every one of them. Let's pause here for a breath. We've uncovered 5 powerful signs together, each one a message, a mirror, a gentle nudge from your own body. But we still have 2 more waiting to be discovered. And the next one, it's about something we all carry inside, yet few of us know how to manage well. Stress. Ready to keep going? There's a quiet war happening inside many of us, one we often don't talk about because it doesn't leave bruises or bandages. It hides in our chests, behind our smiles, inside the thoughts we carry alone when no one's looking. And after 70, when the body starts to slow, it's this invisible pressure, this weight of stress that can quietly shape the rest of your life more than you might imagine. It's easy to think of stress as something we should simply power through. After all, we've lived through wars, losses, illnesses, disappointments, raising children, saying goodbye to old friends. We've endured. But there's a difference between surviving stress and letting it take up permanent space inside you. The truth is, chronic stress in later years doesn't just steal your peace of mind. It begins to chip away at your body too, wearing down your heart, weakening your immune system, making sleep harder, recovery slower, and aging faster. Let me tell you about someone named Richard. He's 75 and retired, but his mind never rests. He worries about the news, about his daughter's job, about bills he already paid. Even small things, like the way the neighbor parks too close, can send him into a tailspin. He smiles when he has to, but his hands shake slightly when he lifts his coffee cup. His nights are restless and his thoughts run in circles. He's not unhealthy, but he's quietly breaking down, one thought at a time. Now think of June. She's 78 and widowed. She misses her husband every day, but she doesn't let sorrow drown her. She journals each morning, writes down 3 things she's grateful for, and makes time to walk by the river even when she doesn't feel like it. When stress comes, and it always does, she greets it like a passing guest, not a permanent resident. She breathes, talks to a friend, says a prayer, and lets it go. And because of that, her blood pressure stays stable, her smile stays genuine, and her energy returns day after day. The difference between the two isn't in their circumstances. It's in how they carry them. After 70, learning to release stress isn't just self-care. It's survival. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Some find peace in music, others in gentle stretches or prayer, a walk in the garden, a phone call to an old friend. Even 5 deep breaths, slow and intentional, can soften the grip of tension. The trick isn't to eliminate problems, it's to stop carrying them all alone. So I ask you gently, when life presses in, how do you respond? Do you hold it tight in your chest? Let it steal your joy? Or do you take a moment to breathe, to notice, to let go? Because the way you handle stress today might be the very thing that gives you more tomorrows. And now finally we arrive at the last sign, one that's easy to overlook, yet quietly profound. It's not about your muscles or your meals or your sleep. It's about connection. The people who know your name. The ones who ask how you are and mean it. After 70, loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's a risk factor. Studies have shown that isolation can be just as harmful to your health as smoking or obesity. But it's not just about having people around. It's about feeling seen, feeling needed, feeling like your presence still matters. There's a gentleman named Morris, 82, soft-spoken, a bit shy. He lost his wife years ago, and his children live far away. But every Wednesday he walks to the library for a poetry group. Not because he loves poetry, but because he loves people. They greet him by name. They ask about his week. And for that 1 hour, he's not alone. His smile lingers even after he walks home. Then there's Linda. 79, lives in a nice apartment with everything she needs, except someone to talk to. Her phone rarely rings. Her meals are eaten in silence. The TV is always on, but no one ever answers back. She used to be full of laughter, but now she says very little at all. Her health hasn't changed much on paper, but her spirit is fading. And sometimes that's where decline begins. You see, connection doesn't have to mean parties or constant visits. It can be a letter, a weekly call, a neighbor who waves, a friend who sends you pictures of their grandkids. It can be volunteering once a month, joining a small group, or even just exchanging stories with someone at the park. The human heart doesn't ask for much. It just wants to feel like it still belongs somewhere. So ask yourself, who have you reached out to lately? Who do you laugh with? Who still knows how your voice sounds when you're truly happy? And if you can't think of someone right now, maybe it's time to let someone new in. Because the relationships you nurture today might be the very ones that keep you grounded, joyful, and alive in the years to come. As we wrap up this journey through the 7 signs, I invite you to reflect not with fear, but with curiosity. Each of these signs isn't just a warning, they're opportunities. Moments to tune back in, to choose differently, to choose life. And isn't that what we all want? Not just more years, but better ones, richer ones. Years filled with walks under trees, warm hands around a teacup, and conversations that linger long after the call ends. You are still here, still learning, still growing. That means something. So now you know. Not in the way of numbers or medical charts or predictions dressed in certainty, but in the quiet, more meaningful way. In the language your body has been speaking all along. Through the strength in your steps, the steadiness of your hands, the stillness of your rest, the hunger you feel not just for food, but for life. Through your breath when the world feels heavy, and through the sound of your own voice when someone you care about calls and says, "I'm glad you're still here." These 7 signs aren't a sentence. They're a map. They're ways your body and spirit are nudging you back into alignment, asking gently, are you still paying attention? Are you still choosing life? Because if you are, if you're still walking, still laughing, still reaching for something better, you're already on the right path. And if some of these signs hit a little too close to home, if your grip isn't as firm as it once was, or your appetite feels thinner than your old photo albums, or if your nights have turned restless and quiet, please know this: it is not too late. It is never too late. Not to strengthen, not to reconnect, not to rebuild the kind of life that makes you look forward to the next morning. You don't need to become someone new. You just need to return to yourself, gently, slowly, and with a little more care. Maybe it starts today. Maybe it starts with one small walk around your block. Maybe it's a message to an old friend you haven't spoken to in years. Maybe it's sitting down to a real meal tonight, turning off the news and lighting a candle just for the joy of it. Or maybe, just maybe, it's closing your eyes after this video and saying to yourself, I'm not done yet. Because you're not. You're still here. Honey, And that means the story isn't finished. You have more to teach, more to give, and more beauty to experience than you realize. So if this video has spoken to something inside you, if it reminded you of your strength, your softness, or your purpose, I invite you to pass it on. Share it with someone who needs it, someone who's quietly wondering if they still matter. Remind them, they do, and so do you. And if you'd like to walk this path with us, to keep learning, reflecting, and choosing a wiser, fuller life, then subscribe, stay connected, and let's keep going together. There's so much more to discover. We're grateful you're here, and we can't wait to see you again. For